Best Podcast Ever is sponsored by the Gertzberg Law Firm, a full-service business law firm in Cleveland and Chagrin Falls that's changing the way businesses retain their attorneys. Go to gertzberglaw.com to learn more. While you're there, check out Cover My Six, a complete legal audit of the 6 areas that most often create or prevent business lawsuits and government investigations. Go to covermysix.com to learn how we keep you safe. Enjoy the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to listen to the best podcast ever recorded.
I think that's true. Hi, Molly Gebler.
Hi, Alex Gertzberg. Oh my gosh, I forgot what you looked like.
Ages and ages and ages.
I forgot what you looked
I know.
like. Happy Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah.
Has it been that long?
Happy New Year.
Kwanzaa.
What's the ruling on Happy New Year? When are you not allowed?
I think it's after a week.
Is it?
Yeah.
Really?
Here, I got a better question for you. What's the ruling on Christmas lights? When do those things come down?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I think 1 week after New Year's is the answer to both of those questions.
Well, I think in this techno day and age where they've got remotes now for these lights, light people, or maybe I shouldn't say this. Oh, if I say it, it's record that I said it, right? So I'm going to say it. So let's make one that you can remote control colored, red, green, black, and orange. And that way they stay up all year long, and you just click it for Valentine's Day, red, St. Patrick's Day, green.
I'm sure they have that. In fact,
orange and black for Halloween.
Yesterday, I was at Young Jacob's Beauty and the Beast play.
Yes, your dad was live. I was part of that too a
First
little
of all,
bit.
We need to talk to that man about
It
live
allows
streaming.
me to be a part of the Gertzberg's life without being there.
Man.
Since I don't get invited to come to these things.
You have a standing invite. I should just give you my calendar. But anyway, my neighbor was sitting next to me, and for Christmas, his family got him Google Smart Lights. And so you through your phone tell the lights what color you want them to be and how bright you want them to be. And he goes, "Watch this," and he told his phone, "Turn off all the lights in the kitchen." And he did, and he had like a family of people in his kitchen who went dark all of a sudden.
So are these light bulbs that you put in and then you control them?
Yeah, they got like chips in them.
Oh my God.
So the answer is yeah. But here's the other question. It seems like there's a lot more projection stuff happening.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that like the lazy man's Christmas lights, Molly? What do you think?
You know what? I don't know. It's funny because back in the day, our neighbor knew a person that made, it was a circle chip. It was probably like a slide because it was like that paper, and they made it to say whatever you wanted. So I remember I was watching home videos the other day with my dad, and for his 75th, we got Happy Birthday, Dr. Joe on this little disc thing that went into a projector, and then we put it out on the house. And that had to be, I mean, he's 87 years old.
He was ahead of his time.
Yeah, yeah. So when I was running for council, we did vote for Molly on like the side of our house, but it was huge, and you just ordered this little disc.
I don't know how I feel about them. I think
the ones look like measles.
Measles.
The spots all over.
That are supposed to be snowflakes?
No, originally, like 2 years ago when those came out, they were just dots.
Yeah.
I think they were supposed to look like you had lights on your entire house.
Well, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to
Okay.
tell you, right? I'm going to predict the future, right?
Excellent.
Because
Airplane mode.
Because it was, a whole production of putting all your Christmas lights up, right? And then you were competing with the neighbors, and you spent the weekend doing it, and you fell off your roof and broke your ass. And
Did you do that, or are you just
no, never? I'm
citing
describing
the
I'm screwed.
Christmas vacation here?
I'm describing all my neighbors. All the
Gotcha.
time, and probably you guys and your neighbors, right?
Yes.
So
John is Clark Griswold.
yeah. So then somebody was like, "Hey, let's put this stuff to music." right? And let's make patterns.
That is
and then
true.
That was the next generation of Christmas lights, right?
Yeah.
And then somebody was like, let's do like the whole Trans-Siberian Orchestra thing.
Yes.
Right?
We drive everywhere to see this every
right.
year. Yeah.
Right. And so now with the projection stuff, that's the next generation. So now what I expect is going to happen in the next generation of it all,
Lights in the siding.
it's going to be like neon and LED lights, making not just the house, but like all the space and the lawn around the house look like a cartoon.
Can't you just do a filter? Like when you drive past my house, put your phone up to my house and just kind of flip through some filters of what my house could look like with
like
some
Snapchat.
lights. And then I don't have to do anything.
Right. It's a great idea.
How about lights in I just thought we were talking, lights in the siding. You side your house.
Ooh.
They're already in there.
Wow. Brilliant.
And then click of the button
Year
when
round.
need be, year round if you'd like. Yeah. Gosh,
It's brilliant.
we've become billionaires.
just
Let's
did?
go on Shark Tank.
I feel like we just solved a problem.
Yes, we
Yeah.
did. Yes, we did.
You went traveling recently with your daughter.
I did. Oh,
What's that? What happened?
I dropped baby girl off to New York City
Emily.
to live. Yes, for the next
live.
5 months.
So she just went to France last year.
She spent, yes, and this is all through school, through
Yeah.
Kent State Fashion. And so she spent her summer going to school. But this is Kent State has a school in New York City.
Yeah.
So she goes to school 2 days a week, and then she interns for Christian Siriano, who is I think he was the first or second winner of Fashion Runway, and is a very big designer now.
So she's going to work for him in New York?
She's already started,
Wow.
and she's delivered some packages to some amazing names, which I will not say, but he is an incredible. And Grammys are coming up next week, so we drove her earlier. She went a week early.
And is she currently right now living in New York City?
She is currently right now living on 36th Street by Madison.
What's happening in the Molly Gebler emotional spectrum?
Molly's nesting, or Molly's
empty nesting.
I'm emptying is what I'm doing. I'm just gutting the whole house. Actually, a funny story. When we first dropped her off, we went for like 3 days. Got her all moved into. She's on the second floor, but yet it's 4 flights of steps.
Where in New York?
She's on 36th by Madison. She's in an incredible area. There's 4 roommates. If you visit me on Facebook, you could see her. I did a live of her room.
Okay.
It's a great, very high ceilings, and it's a great $1,200 a person a month. Everybody.
Jesus, man.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
she started a week earlier than anyone else, so there was no one there yet. And we dropped her off. There's a picture on my Facebook of her walking away, which
I saw that.
that was emotional.
Yeah,
that
that looked like a Bob Dylan album cover.
Yes. So she sent her away, and she was saying that she lives on 36th. She works, I think his studio's on 37th maybe, and Kent State is very close there. So she's walkable to those 2 things. And she was saying, you know what, I'm just going to wait a little bit to get my Metro card. She's a little fear of the subway system. And she's like, I'm just going to, I can walk right now and I'm good and whatever. So we drop her off, and then we headed home. And I think it was 10 minutes in, and I get a call. And she says, well, I got their Metro card. I've got a thing. I'm going to InStyle magazine to pick up dresses. And I need to get on the subway.
I have to confront my fears.
And I was like, okay, so then that whole day was a lot of phone calls to mom I'm on the map because, in Chagrin Falls or anywhere in the Ohio area, when you say 83 North Main Street, it's 83. You Google it,
Right.
you get there, there's the building, it's 83 North Main. When you're in New York City
Yeah.
and it's 83 North Main Street, it's down an alley, up a flight of steps, down in the basement, through it. I mean, it's,
Right.
So she's like, Mom, I'm standing right here. It says it's supposed to be 101 whatever, and it's not. And of course, their generation, God forbid you call anybody. And it's her
Right.
first day, and she's like, I don't want to call anybody and
wanna
tell
seem
them.
like a
yeah,
foreigner.
I don't know where I'm going. I said, okay, let's just get through today. I think she took 3 subway trips, you
Yeah.
have to be on the right side of the street depending on which way you're going.
For the subway, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, so I said, let's get through today, go home tonight, study the system. I mean, it is pretty simple once you study it. There's east, west, and uptown,
Yeah.
downtown. So
It intimidates the hell out of me. I need really specific instructions. If she needs, my cousin Rima has lived there for like 25 years.
okay.
Yeah, so if she
I
needs-
think we need to get
Yeah, yeah.
just for emergency purposes.
Yeah, for sure.
But now she's good. She's
Were
good.
you secretly like, man, like, because you love New York?
I do.
Right?
I do.
And but you've never lived there.
Never. You know what? I lost a little bit of my love when we went to Target to go, because this is
Target.
like moving someone into college almost. So it was furnished because it's an Airbnb, but she needed like a garbage can. She needed some drapes. She needed some groceries just to
Yeah.
kind of get her through the next couple days. So we went to Target because they have like a full Target with all the groceries and all that stuff. So we walked to Target, and now we have to get home, and we have a garbage can, and we have a laundry basket, and we have, standing on the street corner, and it's winter. It's like 8 below, and standing on the street corner with all this shit, waiting, trying to get the cab. Then he comes, and you got to pop the trunk open. I mean, I kind of lost, and then lugging it up 4 flights of steps. I was like, I'm done.
Right.
But John, on the other hand, I was going to have to, I pulled him away. He
wanted to stay in New York.
Yeah, he's like, let's just do it. Let's just pack it all up and go. And I'll sell hot dogs. He wants to sell hot dogs on one of those
Has
stands.
He's been in New York
Oh,
before.
yeah.
I have, I like New York for about 2 to 3 days.
You're a Chicago guy, right?
Well, I love Chicago. I love New York for a little bit, but my blood pressure starts going up because there's too many people in a small place.
Gotcha.
And there's no lawns. I just don't understand how people can live and not have lawns.
Lawns
I
to
don't get it.
rake and mow.
I don't understand it at all. And like, it's weird because, and this will be a good segue to your ADD because I want to get an update on that. But my ADD, right, and maybe it's a different condition altogether. Maybe it's just hallucination. But like, whenever I start flying into New York, I can feel my blood pressure going up, and the thoughts that come into my mind are very visual. And I start just thinking, man, this place is so big, and there's so many people here, and they're living on top of each other, and it's just like, it's like God poured concrete over a city, right?
It's called the concrete jungle, isn't
yeah.
it?
And it's just, I don't know. I just don't. I think from living in suburban Cleveland, or places like suburban Cleveland your whole
Right.
life, that environment to me is too. It creates too much anxiety
See,
for me.
I don't want to say get off because that's not the word. Like, the second, of course, my entry into New York City is a little different than yours. I'm not on a plane. I'm in a car.
Right.
And, half the time I'm finding my hotel because I never get one until like I'm like 5 minutes away from New York. John and I are always fighting. He likes to take the tunnel, and I like to take the bridge because I like to have the visual of.
Right.
So that's like the first 20 minutes just away from
Yeah.
New York is what's happening in our car. He won this time, so we took the tunnel. But there's one point before the tunnel where you just take this turn, and like there's the skyline. And we
Yeah.
came in at night. I just like. I love it.
What is great about New York, it's that emotion that you get when you see it for the first time, but it's also the things I hate about it are also things that are so fascinating, because in order to have that much growth and that many people living together and working together, you have to have those amazing bridges and those huge skyscrapers. And when you have that many people living together and all the history that came before them, you have the most amazing Broadway productions, and you have all this technology and cross-pollination that happens. And it is a very different city.
She did have a first cockroach. And the idiots picked it up and let it back out. I'm like, guys,
That's very
it's
Buddhist of
coming back in.
Good for you, Emily. I'm with you on that one.
So she's doing
don't
good,
kill the
and
cockroaches.
she, that's what you do as a parent. I think is raise your kids to the point where they can go move to New York City and be and live. So, but I think we've lost her. I mean, I think I need to realize that, that's 5 months now, and then she wants to find a paying intern. So if you have any connections.
Oh, this is
for
an
the
unpaid
summer,
internship?
This is unpaid. So she goes to school.
Yeah.
She needs to start babysitting. We've got a lot of friends in New York, so I keep telling her she needs to touch base with them. And I mean, in New York, if you babysit once a weekend, you're going to at least get some money, because she wants to roll right into working there for the summer at a paid intern. But, she's going to need money for the first month's rent for that to happen.
Jeez, that's crazy. It's so expensive to live there.
It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. She did just do, we've been doing Amazon Fresh. We've been trying that out. So it's grocery shopping, but they deliver it to you.
Is
and if
that
you,
right?
Yeah. But if you,
my
and we
goodness.
compared prices, and if you spend $50, it's free delivery. So by the time she goes to the grocery store, I felt we were all right. So we're testing that one out.
Have you ever seen that movie WALL-E, that cartoon?
Oh yeah.
Amazon Fresh is exactly how we are going to be, those giant people just sitting there staring at screens.
Yeah, that was the one.
Getting
where they
everything
were
delivered to us. We're never going to leave our chairs.
No, she's been out. In New York, you can't. I mean, in New York, you go anywhere. You got to go out. You got to go out. So
Yeah.
she's doing great. And you've been through some changes in your
There've been some
life.
interesting times. It's been
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a few months ago, in an earlier episode, I was listening to our earlier episodes, and I mentioned how I'm involved in something but I can't really talk about it. So, and the reason I couldn't talk about it was because our kids didn't know yet, right? So in the last week of December, Ina and I told the kids that we were getting divorced, and it was such so. The reason I wanted to talk about it a little bit is because it's like I'm in it. I'm in one of those, top 5 most impactful things that happens in one's life. And it's actually like I want to write about it, and I want to just kind of capture. It's so emotional. It's so emotional. But what is most interesting about it about the kid dynamic is. I can't remember a time when I had more dread about something that was going to happen in the future. You don't want to hurt your kids,
right?
Yeah, and you know it's going to hurt, right? And for the period of time that we both knew that we were going to have to tell our kids, I was dreading it. I've never had that much dread before, and we sat them down and we talked about it. And I won't go into any details, but I will say. They showed way more maturity than I gave them credit for. It was not nearly as catastrophic as I was certain it was going to be.
Right.
We grew from the experience, and then I moved out, and I have my own place, and Ina has her own place now, and we just settled into this new normal, and I was dreading that, and I was like,
how are the kids
how are the kids gonna, it was such an emotional roller coaster for me, Molly, because I was convinced that, like, I was so insecure about how the kids would perceive me, right? And how, whether they would blame me. And I just kind of felt like this was probably going to be the worst thing that ever could possibly happen, going backwards or forwards in my entire life. And we've grown from it, and it is pretty clear that it is the right decision, right? Ina and I'm certain, are both happier than we were. If Ina were sitting right here, she would say the same thing. It's still pretty stressful. The legal proceeding is still pending, which is which I'm not going to go into detail about, but I will say this: I was a lawyer. And then I became the client. This was at Broadvox. This was before. And then I became and I was always a lawyer, but I was outside counsel. And then when I became in-house counsel, I became the client because we would hire outside counsel. And the experiences of those two hats that I wore created this law firm, right? So the Gertzberg Law Firm is the result of having the experience of outside counsel and being the client. Now I'm the client again. And it's that,
but in a different way, because you can't. It's almost a client with your hands tied behind your back because you can't use any of your talents.
So yeah, exactly.
And
that's
got to
right.
be frustrating.
So here's what I'm learning about being a client again, especially in an individual capacity, which we represent clients like who are not companies. They're mostly the business owner or an executive of a business. What I'm remembering about this experience is how vulnerable you are and how helpless you feel, right? And how expensive it is.
Right.
And how you're on a ride. You're in a process that has to play out. And no matter how well-intentioned you are, there is someone in the process who is creating their own narrative about what you're doing and about how it should go. And there are multiple stakeholders, right? So it's not just me and my wife. It's lawyers, judges. It's so that's what makes you feel even more vulnerable and more helpless, you know? And so it is actually, I think, going to bring a nice, fresh look at the way we deal with clients here.
Sure.
But and I'm hoping that it's over soon for everybody's sake. But yeah, it's been crazy, Molly. It's like I've had to meditate a lot more, right? I've had to like really, so it's been so stressful and so emotional.
But I love that you're taking. All throughout this process, you're packaging it up and trying to figure out what can I gain from this? What can I learn from this? I mean, I love that part of it because then in the future, something's going to be better because of this.
Yeah, you know, so I don't usually make New Year's resolutions, but I made one this year. And I write it and I have it written down all over my house. You know what it is? Happy and grateful no matter what.
Amen.
Right? Happy and grateful no matter what. And and I have it on my bathroom mirror, so it's the first thing I see in the morning. And it is so part of my inner monologue now, right? That like every time I would talk to my lawyer or every time I would go to a court conference, I would just be this giant ball of stress, you know, and I felt like it was just killing me and so distracting and just soul sucking experience. But now, for the last like 2 or 3 weeks, that's what I tell myself. Like even when it seems totally out of control, I'm happy for this and I'm grateful for this, and that also helps me, to your point, learn from each, because now it's like, what are you happy about? Well, I'm happy that I am evolving and I'm moving into this next chapter in my life, and that the kids seem to be better than I thought they were going to be, and that we seem to be at the end of this process. And so there's
I mean, think of it. It could be, and you see it, people just wallow in the depression of it, and they let all that consume you, all those emotions that you're talking about, which then filters off to the kids. Yeah. And then they see it, and then they start getting depressed or angry at you. I mean, so I applaud you for...
Thanks, Molly Gebler.
For taking this as,
well,
seeing the light.
So another interesting aspect of it for me is that it has forced me to apply a lot of the sort of self-help concepts and reading and principles and stuff that I've really built up over time. But the one biggest one is this belief. And I want to ask you about it, actually. I wanted to ask you about it today. This abiding, permanent belief that I have, that's now permanent, that I've really evolved and developed over the last couple of years, that mood and emotion and outlook and mindset are choices, as opposed to fixed things that happen to you. Mm-hmm. Right? What do you think about that?
You know, it's funny because I have people in my life who deal with depression, and I have this conversation. You know me, I think if anyone knows me, I'm just happy-go-lucky. I appreciate everything. I live life that way because I feel like I choose to do that. But I have that debate constantly with people who have depression, that it's not that easy for those people who are going through that.
I think that one of the choices you can make, and a lot of people disagree with me about this, but one of the choices you can make is to get help. Mm-hmm. One of the choices you can make is to determine whether you should take an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety pill. Right? Some people definitely need help with that, but I think that's
the gratitude piece.
Yeah,
it is. And I think happiness and gratitude are two totally different things.
Right.
I think if you truly look at what you have, and you instill that gratitude for whatever it is that you have. Yeah. You have more than someone else, and that then should make you happy.
Well, and gratitude, I think, is one of those emotions that replaces anger, right? Like, it's really hard if you believe, as I do, and then let's talk about the ADD, because this is another good segue into this.
Oh boy!
If you believe, as I do, that you can't ever really multitask your thoughts, that your brain really can only give its full attention.
That's a man comment.
I can't multitask well.
Women can do
emotionally, I mean, right? Like, I'm either angry and pissed off, or I'm happy and grateful, right? And I believe that you can try to thin them out and do both at the same time, but in general,
I'm pissed off at you right now, and you don't even know that.
You're not really. You're joking. I think that if you have a gratitude journal, right? If you make time and give energy to being grateful, that will replace bitterness and anger.
I mean, at the end of the day, and I say this to myself a lot, and I say it to other people, tomorrow is not guaranteed.
Right.
And I think with my parents both going quickly and not expectedly, and in this day and age with these overdoses and these suicides with these kids.
I just heard something happened. Did something just happen? Like
it's
group of kids?
It's not our Perry, FYI. It's Perry. It's Ohio, but it's a further Perry.
Did like a group of kids?
Oh my gosh, I hope
commit
not.
suicide all at once?
I hope not.
Somebody told me that yesterday.
I know that they've had, I think, 16 since January, or in this school year. This Perry school. Yeah.
Had 16 suicides in the same year? Mm-hmm. Oh, my God.
Don't quote me on that number, but it's large.
So you're right. It's
not guaranteed.
Nothing's guaranteed.
So do it now and appreciate now and be happy now, and
be deliberate about it. Do it on purpose.
I mean, if you think of the people that one thing that changed the rest of their life, and I'm talking simple things. I'm talking walking across the street and being hit by a car, living and being damaged for the rest of your life. I'm talking about you being that person who accidentally hit somebody. It's just one little thing could change your entire life. So, you are never as great as you are right now until you're better.
Well,
it's
and to piggyback on that thought, I think that if you realize that and you understand that and you step back and you look around, you will find a billion things to be grateful for.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not just being alive.
Right.
And being free of chronic pain.
Right.
Right. Like my go-to one lately is I'm glad that we live in a country that is not in a civil war. Right.
Right.
Like Syria is and
like
has been.
We can turn our water on and drink it if we choose to.
Exactly. Relatively clean water. That's right. Exactly right.
Right.
Or what about just living in a country where you have such ability to choose your profession and to be as upwardly mobile in it as you want to be,
Mm-hmm. Well, I challenge everybody right now, take one day.
Yeah.
And from the minute you wake up, continuing through your head, saying what you're grateful for as you're doing it. You wake up, I'm grateful that my feet touch the floor.
Yeah.
You go up to the bathroom. I'm thankful that I could walk to one day, just do one day of that.
Well, so I think that's a great challenge.
It's hard, but
but I think so what I do is I created a habit out of it because I journal every morning, and the first part of it, it's a template. It just asks me questions, right? And the first part of it is that I have to identify 4 things that I'm grateful for, but each one is always a different question. So the 4 questions are.
Can we get this template up? Can you take a picture of just?
Yeah. Well, if you go, I got it from Tim Ferriss's 5-minute journal. So if you go to, I think. If you Google Tim Ferriss's 5-minute journal, you'll see it there.
The template.
Yeah.
And then you just make copies of
this. It's
this.
really powerful. And there's actually a backstory to that, but the 4 questions are actually they're not I've converted them from questions. It's I am grateful for this relationship. The next one is I am grateful for this great thing that happened yesterday. The third one is I'm grateful for this opportunity that I have today. And the fourth one is I'm grateful for this simple thing that is in front of me right now, right? Like
and
indoor
is that
plumbing.
What we're going to find?
Yeah.
We're going to find
those
that.
4 questions.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Why can't you just review those in your head? What's the process of writing it down? What's the benefit of writing it down?
It's just more deliberate. It's more intentional.
You don't think it's just for someone to find it after you're dead?
Oh, I don't know, but I've been doing it for like 3 years, so mine is definitely robust.
Every day for 3 years you write in this.
Yeah, but so that's the first section of the 5-minute journal. The second section is, and this is going to sound hokey, but I really believe in the power of like self-talk, and like, especially because my inner monologue has been at various times in my life not all that positive, right?
I'm sure.
And so so you start by putting yourself in a grateful state of mind, right? Then the next section is affirmations, right? Just like things that you say to yourself, right? And so No, it's so and mine have evolved over the years.
Sure, I'm sure it changes with whatever's going on in your life.
The most recent one is one that I found. I think where I may have found it is in that Village Herb Shop.
You did. Yeah. We posted that.
No. This one has not been posted, but I found it there, and it says.
Do you hang out at the Village Herb Shop? I'm feeling it.
No, I don't.
No?
I stop by there once in a while.
Okay, I love it.
So it starts with I dare to dream big. Geez, here, you want me to read it? I'll read it to you. I won't read the whole thing. There's like 7 or 8 lines. The last couple though are I have everything I need. I'm doing a good job.
I say that when I'm shopping. I have everything I need.
At the very end when you're
No, I try to do it before I get to the register.
And I love every part of this journey is in there. I can.
You have to say that. You have to say that because you know, there are times where you don't.
Right.
But truly, if you do,
right,
whatever that bad thing is, will.
So then, after the affirmation section, is one that says 3 things that would make today great. Because if you're me, it's easy to get overwhelmed, right? I mean, there's 100 things that I'm always behind on. But if you just pick 3, right, and they're ones that you can accomplish, you pop them in your calendar, right, you feel great at the end of the day. And then the last, and so this is a template. Again, I've grown it since the original. We would
like your template.
The original 5-minute journal is just like 6 bullet points. Right?
So is your template on like a word that you could get out?
I'm not going to share the whole thing, but like the last piece of my template is just like my own personal like code, my own rules to live by.
Gotcha.
Right, and I have to review it every single day. You know,
I mean, life is crazy. Yeah, you have to remind yourself constantly.
Yeah, but I'll read this one piece of it. So the last thing that I added to this is happy and grateful always and no matter what, which was my New Year's resolution. And then I'll read the second piece of it, and then I'm not going to read the rest. But it's choose your time and attention well, positive choices only. There are a finite number of blocks of time in the day and a finite number of days in your life. How many of them will you spend on negative, petty, neurotic emotions and people? Right? You got to cut those people out.
Yeah.
You got to cut those emotions out.
Yeah.
You know,
and you're totally in control of that.
Because once you have them, once you have those really negative thoughts, right? That's a minute gone that you'd never get back.
Yeah.
You know,
like the 2.5 hours I wasted watching Downsize.
That
I'll never get back. Oh, it's horrible. There is a commercial, and I hate the fact that it is Curry. It's his commercial, so maybe it's Nike. I don't know, but I can't stand it.
Steph Curry?
Yeah, I saw the commercial. I was like, oh my gosh, and then his face showed up. I was like, ah. But it's a quote, and then the left side of the quote washes away. And then I think it just says "dream big," it's the whole thing. And then it's so. But I can't remember what the whole quote was. But I love that. You are in control of your own.
Well, and you got
everything.
I think that you've got to find like hacks, like you've got to find tricks, and things that will keep you in that positive state of mind. Because especially because there's like every time you turn the TV on, there's something that will piss you off.
And shit's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
So you're not in control of what's going to happen to you. You're in control of how you're going to react to what happens to you.
Right. Agreed.
And, you know, that's.
All right. Speaking of which, let's get an ADD update.
A medical update.
What's happening?
Okay, so.
When last we spoke, you were getting ready to see.
Has that been released yet?
Yeah.
Okay. So we all know that I didn't get my CAT scan because my legs weren't shaved.
That's right. That was in that episode.
Yeah. So I got, here's the power of commercials, out on commercial. Well, I was probably keeping up with the Kardashians. Just kidding.
But not really.
No, totally. If you want to waste away some minutes of your life, feel free.
I get stupider whenever I see even a commercial of it.
I feel smarter because I'm watching. Because I'm like, I am smarter than someone. There is a commercial. Although, let's be honest, they're the trillionaires. Who's really the dummy here?
Right.
So there was a new commercial. It's called Chic fab. And Schick, if you're watching 83 North Main Street, feel free to mail all the free samples for me mentioning this on our podcast.
Wow.
It is a back and forth shaver.
What does that mean?
Shut it down, people. This is life changing for ladies out there.
What does that mean?
So
back and
literally,
forth?
when you're shaving, you could just go back and forth.
Oh, instead of just in one direction.
It's a two-way razor. Yes, life altering. So, with that fact,
I wish everyone could see Molly's exuberance right now.
I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness!
With that, I was like, I can now shave my legs
and get my CAT scan.
So I think it was maybe an hour later, I called and rescheduled my CAT scan, which they said, oh, sure, we have, I think I called them on Monday, and they said, oh, sure, we have Thursday for you. So I'm like, I better get out and get the Schick Fab, which I did. I went to a drug mart, and they didn't have it. And this was Wednesday, so I didn't have it. It was Wednesday after work. I didn't have any more time, and I knew I couldn't cancel again.
Can we take a slight detour? Does having the Schick Fab with the up and down feature, does that
it just
mean
makes
that
shaving more fun?
But well, like what are you able to shave in the car more, or like what's happening
I could just
here?
have fun in the shower with my little Schick Fab, back and forth and back. I mean, think of how under the pit, how that's life changing. That is life altering. Could you imagine if you could just go like this on your face?
I got a beard. I can't relate in any way to this. Oh my
gosh, it's like I want everyone to call in. Life changing.
Please share your experiences with the Schick
Give me your
Fab.
reviews because I still haven't gotten it yet, FYI. So it's Wednesday night. I've got my CAT scan the next day, so I have to just get a razor. So I just got a regular stupid one like I always get because they didn't have it. And I wasn't going to, it was like 7 o'clock. I wasn't headed to Walmart or whatever. So got the CAT scan on Wednesday or Thursday. FYI, I didn't even need to shave my legs. I was fully dressed. It took 3 minutes. So again, it's the unknown. Yeah. It's the unknown.
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah. So I went in, got it done Friday morning. That was yesterday. I got a call from my doctor who said everything's good. So I would like everyone who made me get the CAT scan, including you and my sister, for multiple migraines. I would like to give you my bill. On that, and because that's just a waste of money. And then on Monday, I will say on Monday, so another thing I was fearful was the up the butt down the throat test that I have to get for my stomach, the colonoscopy and the endoscopy, and I've had it scheduled, and then I canceled it, and this pain, my baby that I call it, that's been in my stomach for a while.
Jeez, oh man.
It's getting to the point where when I lay on my side, I actually have to prop a blanket up underneath it.
What is causing it?
I don't know. I think maybe an ulcer.
Stop it.
I don't know what's causing it, but now it's to the point where like I'm adjusting, I'm propping up so that it I don't know, because when I lay on it, it hurts.
Well, how do you get rid of it?
So
gotta drink
I was realizing that why I wasn't getting the up the butt down the throat test was the up the butt part. So, and these are all medical technical terms, everybody.
For sure. Yeah.
So I called my doctor and I said, listen, I need the down the throat test because this is really starting to bother me and we need to look at it. But I'm not getting it because I'm afraid of the up the butt test. So can we just do the down the throat test? And this is how I think, folks. This is my brain. This is how it works. So he said yes, that, they want the up the butt just because I think at some point you have to get it done. And, but, my dad died at 36 of stomach and esophageal cancer. So I can't play with that.
No, you shouldn't.
So I am on Monday morning, I will be put out and they will go down my throat. I've had it done before. just before it was just routine, just because of our history.
To see if it's an ulcer.
To see if it's an ulcer, which again, I had a conversation with my doctor to say, listen, is that really necessary? Like, you can't tell if I have an ulcer any other way than putting me under and going down my throat.
Is it a
But
pain?
they said that they take fluids and stuff in there. And that's how they
Is this a pain that's with you constantly, or does it come and go?
It comes and goes with eating.
Okay.
It's affected with eating. But then at the end of and I do have heartburn. But at the end of the night, it doesn't matter when I had eaten. When I lay on that side, it's not painful. It's just uncomfortable. It feels like a full something. I'll call it a balloon for visual sake. And then when you lay on that side, all that water would then.
Dude,
What's your
Do
diagnosis?
you notice that it happens with certain foods, or is it any food?
Probably more with certain foods, but I couldn't tell you what those are.
You know what I would recommend you do?
What?
Talk to Blondie. Honestly. Like, I mean, because that's what she does. She's a nutritionist.
Well, we're going to get this test.
You know what? I mean,
then-
listen, I had really bad allergies, and she got rid of all my allergies by telling me to stop drinking milk. Just saying,
Yeah.
you know? So, I thought we were going to have an ADD
So
update.
ADD update.
This turned into a whole nother
I
animal.
know. ADD update. No update. Because I think I talked about this. I think I had a follow-up on this. They wanted me to go psych and psychiatrist and psychologist, and I am not there with my I can't even find time to get a test that obviously is bothering me.
Because
I
of
can't
the
find time
yeah.
to shave my legs to get another test.
But maybe that's all ADD related.
I know it's affecting me, and I know that I have to get some kind of I can't see going and talking, because it has to start there.
I don't think so.
Can I just go and take a test and they can tell me if I have it, and then I get medicine?
Yeah. Here's what it comes down to.
You were going to give me a name.
Do you want to go? If I haven't, then I will. I apologize. The question is, do you want to go see a psychologist who cannot
No.
prescribe drugs, or do you want to go see a psychiatrist who
I want
can?
a test.
Right. But either of them can give you the diagnostic test. It's like
Okay.
40 questions or something like that.
Okay.
And then you then decide, do I want to cope with this pharmaceutically,
Right.
or do I want to cope with this through other means? And there's any number. I mean, it really is that saying, you know, when the only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Depending on which doctor you go to, nutritionist will say they'll be able to treat it with food.
Right.
A psychologist, depending on their type of psychology, will say, I can help you with your ADD without you using drugs.
Right.
In my experience, anyway.
Right, I know.
A psychiatrist will say, you've got ADD, I got something for you.
So you
Right?
have to find out what you want to do first, because
But there's also depending on how intensive you want your coping mechanisms to be, a sort of holistic approach, which in my case, what helps me with my ADD, I mentioned this book before, which I know you won't read, but it's
because I have ADD.
Delivered from Distraction by Ned Hallowell. I mean, he compiles all of this research that says adults with ADD have a much better treatment, self-treatment, if they exercise a lot, depending on the food that they eat. It's got to be high protein food. Drugs will help for sure, right? But drugs aren't for everyone. Meditation definitely helps, because you start paying attention to what your brain is doing unconsciously. And There's 20 other different ways.
I mean,
to
like
cope
it's
with
so
stuff.
funny when you mentioned your inner monologue.
Yeah.
Like there is no way I could ever hear anything in my head because there's so much going on in my head.
I disagree with you.
I think there's just no way.
You should download Headspace onto your phone.
I think you told me that.
Yeah, do it for 10 days and then do it for 30 days. And I promise you'll start listening to that voice in your head and you'll be like, man, she's a real bitch sometimes. She's like a roommate that won't stop chattering.
Oh, no, I have them. There are just so many of them that I couldn't diagnose. I couldn't just stop and listen to one.
So the analogy that I hear a lot with from meditation teachers is that if you imagine the voices in your head as a waterfall, when you meditate, you're going into the space behind the waterfall so that you could see the waterfall without being in it, and you see all the streams of water and the drops. But when most people and without some mechanism or meditation or whatever, you're usually in the waterfall and it's usually falling on your face, right? And all you can hear is the sound, the noise from it. And
Gosh, I do love that. And I'm getting my kitchen redone, which I'm super excited about.
That is exciting.
Super excited about it, but it's been a long beginning process, which is
like
making
the whole
me nervous.
Like cabinets, painting,
and
floor.
countertops. We'll do the demo. John and I will do the demo.
Wow, you guys are.
Yeah,
I
it's
could never
just
do
taking off cabinets. Come on,
dude. I wouldn't know where to start.
And we're gonna take off like half a wall so that we'll combine our kitchen and our dining room into kind of one space.
Mm-hmm. You should put before and after pictures on the website.
I should. I mean, I am so excited. I can't stand it.
Really?
I can't stand it.
Were you waiting for your final daughter to leave the house before you did that?
Yeah. You know what? I've always hated our house.
I thought you were going to say I've always hated that girl.
Yeah, no, I love my baby girl. I've always hated that house.
What?
You know what? It was one of those things where we were in a bad place when we moved. We couldn't sell it was during the big breakdown with real estate and all that kind of stuff. And Wells Fargo effed up and gave us, the money to pay for the second house when we hadn't sold the first house, which no way in hell should we have had two houses for our income, kind of like they did with everybody. So, we needed to get into that. So long story short, it was one of those ones where, John wanted to come home to his hometown forever. I mean,
where were
I
you
lived
living?
Here too. We lived in Wycliffe.
Okay.
We had bought my childhood home, and then added 1,100 square feet to that house, and then left it. So like I built that house.
Is this the house you live in now?
No, this was in Wycliffe.
Oh.
We bought my parents' house. Well,
Got it.
my home. Yeah, and then we doubled the size of it. And I just created it to be the perfect house. And the contractor ended up stealing a lot of money from us. So we fired him, and I contracted out myself. So like every nook was, so I had my whole heart in that house.
So you got this house and you've hated it for a long time, and now you love it again because
I don't love it.
But you're gonna with the kitchen.
Yes, I will love it. But, we're on a budget and, it's just the guy came this morning to measure and we were off by a little bit. And so that actually created the possibility of getting a new cabinet, which in other people's worlds, they'd be like, oh my gosh, that's great. I get another cabinet, but that's another, $400, and he's like, oh, well, you're going to need your electrical. And it's just, just a lot
so you're doing the demo yourself, but you're having other people install it?
Yeah, we're having them install it. And
which company?
Yeah. I'm not going to say.
Okay.
I'm not going to say. Just because I'm a chamber exec and there's tons out there that I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
No, that makes perfect sense.
So. But I'm excited about it.
Good. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. I'll have you over and have a martini on my little sidebar thing that I'm having. Kidding.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. All right, dude. Well, we've gone about an
great.
hour. Let's do a quick recap. We've learned about a lot of emotional journeys that we take.
Yes.
Morning routines, our daughters going off away from the nest.
Yes.
Demoing your kitchen.
Yes.
This has been a
Divorce.
wide-ranging discussion.
I think it shows that, because I would think you and I are very happy-go-lucky people, and I think that when people hear this, some may say, really, Alex just went through all of that, and I just saw him 3 weeks ago and he was smiling, and that is the power of choosing how you want to be.
Yeah. Well, I think we both do that.
Yeah.
You do that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to actually earlier think about when I've actually ever seen you like just really pissed off or just in a bad mood. And I think like twice since I've known you.
Gosh, what was it about?
Well, so one was you were really aggravated because your bank was jerking you around.
Okay.
Right? Like you were on the phone with your bank all day long.
Okay.
I think you were just having a bad day. And then the other time was here with me when we broke up about the essay contest. Which I think you were in a bad mood that day too. I think it was unrelated to me.
Oh, you know what? Again, I think that just goes back to just being thankful and grateful for where you are and what you have, right?
But the point is, we've known each other now for a good 4 years.
When's our friendiversary on Facebook?
I don't know. It's a good...
Because that officially tells us how long we've been friends.
But to only have seen your you being sad and upset twice in that entire time period is a testament to your power of positivity, Molly Gebler.
Yeah, I eat my feelings. But I'm feeling something. I'm feeling I don't know what it is, and my husband's probably like, "Oh shit!" But there's something coming. I feel an itch. I feel something big. I feel, and I can't. I don't think it's the kitchen.
Have you
something's coming.
Have you had this feeling before? Something has happened.
I have, but I wouldn't be able to pinpoint what. I know I've had this feeling before.
Maybe you're pregnant.
Oh my gosh, no. Maybe my Sam. Maybe Sam. Maybe Sam.
Interesting.
But yeah, I feel something. It's weird.
Moms definitely have that kind of situation happening, more than dads. More than dads, for sure.
Yeah, so beware, be ready.
Stay tuned for the next episode of Best Podcast Ever.
I promise, John, I'm not leaving you. It's not that big.
We'll learn what it was on this day.
We're going to schedule Edwin's.
Yes, we're going to go eat at Edwin's.
Yeah. That would be...
Knife skills
tomorrow. Well... Yeah, the film for Knife Skills.
I did not get to. I saw your new assistant. I didn't meet her, but she seemed very nice.
So great.
She's working out awesome.
It's one of those things where you get a little nervous because it is so seamless that you feel like you must be missing something.
What's her name?
Jessica. And yeah, she's working out well, and I think we've made some really great. She allows me to investigate my creative thoughts.
It's amazing how it's amazing how having good employees frees you up. And allows you to tap into like.
Yeah, we're actually hiring one more a QuickBooks, something that would just kind of take the finances off my plate. The board really wants me out into the community.
Good.
But I know this will be over. I don't know. No, maybe not. But we've got Restaurant Week coming February 1st through the 13th. And yesterday we did a little, after we ate the chicken barbecush, we went to the Leopard, which is in Aurora.
Yeah.
Folks.
That place is like a country club. It's really nice.
There's Pause, which is more family, And then there's the Leopard,
Right.
which is fine dining.
Yeah.
Paws is open not 24 hours a day, but it's like 6 to 9.
Yeah.
And they don't stop. And it's hamburgers and it's casual food. Fine dining, the Leopard is more, I think it's
Gourmet.
Tuesday through Saturday. But they're open, or they're in restaurant week. And I am telling you, 4 courses, $35.
Wow.
We tried it yesterday. They have a butternut squash topped with blue cheese soup that was to die for.
And you've extended
We
Restaurant
did
Week.
13 days, and that's all based on a survey that we took with the folks. And then we have a kickoff, which I hope you bought your tickets for. It's a luau. It's on the 31st. Right. It's $20, beer, wine, and food. I mean, seriously, get your grass skirt.
I got to tell you, did you come up with Restaurant Week?
I did. That was
brilliant.
my first
It was brilliant.
baby.
I'm a lot more purposeful about learning about restaurants that I haven't eaten at in a long time because of Restaurant Week, and I know a lot of other people do too.
It's a perfect time.
And what you do, folks, if you haven't really participated, is you go down the list and they have their own special menu for Restaurant Week, and
all budgets.
yeah, and you get great deals on awesome food that they make just for Molly, basically.
Hyde Park.
Yeah.
I can't remember their pricing, but filet mignon's on there.
Yeah.
And it's funny. It was Hyde Park 4 years ago. I started Restaurant Week. I didn't know what was. I think we had 14 restaurants that participated. And Hyde Park is my girlfriend. I don't know if my girlfriend was with me. We usually kick off Restaurant Week, and it was Hyde Park. I walked in and I said, "We're here for Restaurant Week," and they handed me this menu that had the logo that I did, the Chamber logo, and then Hyde Park's logo, and I just lost it. I mean, just because I didn't even, wasn't even in my thoughts that they were going to have like their own, I don't know what I thought, but they really have rallied around. This year we have Aladdin's is new.
Okay.
They actually joined the Chamber to be part of Restaurant Week. The Leopard is new.
Is that right?
Pizza Fire is with us this year. So we go from Pizza Fire to Master Pizza, Panini's, Burntwood, all the way up to Hyde Park.
It's an awesome idea.
Crew is on there.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to sit for $50, I think, is Crew, for a 3-course meal at Crew. Not going to happen on a regular day.
That'll never happen.
No.
Yeah.
No. So, yes, get out there. These are the times to try.
So what people need to do is go to
ChagrinValleyRestaurantWeek.com.
Oh, is that it has its own website?
Or CVCC.org.
CVCC.org.
But Chagrin Valley Restaurant Week, we have our own website for, and all the restaurants are listed, all their menus, well, from those that we have. I think we're still missing
Go there,
a few.
tell them Molly sent you.
Yes,
and they will,
yes, and then take the survey. Keep your receipt. Take a survey. Grand prize, and I'm announcing it right here, so hopefully Nellie will get this out. I believe it's a 6 or 8 person chef's kitchen table for 6 or 8, I can't remember, of a 11-course meal.
What? Where?
At the Leopard.
So
you're sitting. They have.
So you take the survey by going to
keeping your receipt.
Keep your receipt.
And then go to CVCC.org or Chagrin Valley Restaurant Week and click on take the survey, and it just kind of asks where you went and what you enjoyed.
You're supposed to do, is it one survey per restaurant that you attended?
Yes, because it'll ask you for your receipt number.
So you can have multiple tickets in the drawing.
Oh yeah. We want you to go to all 22 of them and enter 22 times.
I want an 11-course meal
Yes.
with 8 of my friends at Leopard.
If we don't win that, since I can't win it, and maybe you will win it. If we can't, I think we should set one up. The chef said that it would end up being, I think, $80 a person. $80 to $90 a person. That would be for, I think he said, a 14-course, which I don't even know how you could.
Well, I think the appropriate thing to do is whoever wins that thing better take
just
me
call
and
us.
Molly.
Yeah,
or
but
we're gonna
if
find
not,
you.
I do want to get
I'm in. Well,
that amount of people and go, because I just think that's a bucket list thing of mine.
We'll go to Edwin's and then we'll go to Leopard.
Okay. Edwin's has a kitchen table
Is Edwin's
as well.
Is Edwin's a chamber member?
Very fancy. They are not, but
listen here, Brandon.
I know, but
Get
you
on
know,
that.
they're Shaker Heights, so it's a little far out of our.
I've been beaten up on Starbucks to become a member.
Are you?
Yeah, I spend so much money at Starbucks.
I would give you a chamber coffee mug if you.
Dude, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't want to lose my business.
Okay.
Plus, we have this giant audience that we're gonna start bad mouthing Starbucks about.
Yeah. Well, you know that you can go to Cultivate or Tame Rabbit.
Yeah.
Or Lemon Falls, or
I go to all
Shop.
of those. Cultivate, I didn't know they had good coffee.
Oh my gosh,
they have good
pour
coffee.
over. It's the special kind. It's a name.
I'm gonna go back there.
It's a name. Kate is Kate still
Tame
there?
Rabbit. Katie is still there.
Okay, I know she was gonna.
Yeah, you know what? I need to stop in at Cultivate.
Yes, and great salads, by the way, and
Really?
they're on Restaurant Week.
Okay.
I don't know what that's one menu I
right.
don't have yet.
I'm gonna go check that out.
Have you ever been to Cultivate?
No.
My gosh, their bowls, their salads, I think they're $14, but it's 2 salads. I mean, and I remember when they first opened, I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to continue the amount that they put in there, and it's just all fresh. And then the coffee is something local. So
I go there right now. Is Kim working in that Cultivate?
She probably wouldn't be. She works more in the Hungry Bee. She is a great manager over at Cultivate. So she doesn't have to be there all the time. But yeah.
So everyone go to cvccc.org and then go to the
and get your tickets for the luau.
Get your tickets for the luau.
Yes.
And then go to gertzberglaw.com and click on essay contest.
Yes.
We're about 3 weeks away from. No, we're actually February 21 is the deadline for students. So we're about a month out. We're exactly a month out. And we need way more judges, or else Molly and I are going to be reading way too many essays.
Yes, I put that link in the thank you from the lunch.
Yeah, you're awesome. That was a good speech you gave about it.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And I think at the end of the day, we need the judges, and it then is up to us to make those judges sponsors.
Agreed.
So
gertzberglaw.com and then click on essay contest.
We need you. I mean, we need them.
We do.
This won't be successful without help. We need help.
And it got big this year.
Right.
Really
and I
big.
think that is, I didn't make it a resolution of mine, but saying that I need help is very difficult for me. But in this instance, we need help.
We do need help.
Yeah. So I mean, there's no way about it.
Be a judge. Be a sponsor.
Yeah,
help.
we need you. Yeah.
Alex,
this has been great. It's a Saturday morning. It's a great way to start my Saturday morning. I'm going to go grocery shopping now.
I was telling you before we started, you know what? We need structure to this podcast. And you were like, no, let's just banter.
I think this is a good banter.
I'm glad we went with your move.
Yeah, I think we learned that we're normal people.
Thank you, Molly.
Always
Thanks,
a pleasure,
everyone.
Alex Gertzberg.
Later. Do me a favor, folks. Get on your computer and go to thebest.podcast.ever.com and click on the subscribe button. And then there's a Facebook page. You can also like it there.